Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Golden. At this point, I don't really know how to do this intro. It's Nikki's. I've been off the block for a long time, but of course, Chris is in Chicago.
Big Money Blivs coming to you live from the LCS Championships here in Chicago.
My room's a mess because he's been staying on my floor. The air mattress is right behind me. But yeah, we were just at LCS Finals today. That was
technically LCS
semifinals, yeah, I guess, but it's all LCS Finals at the end of the day. Dude, absolute ripper though. I mean, front to back, like it was just fun to be there and see everything, and it only, I think getting silver scrapes at the end of it only adds to kind of the experience, because that song is cool online, but it rips in an arena full of people.
So good. The crowd, the audience, the atmosphere was great, right? This was your very first ever esports event in person, and it didn't disappoint. I think we had 2 barn burners. You know, I think Kaori subbing in for Danny, you know, great on Lucian.
Great on I didn't get to see anything but Lucian early game, but like it feels like, and Vulcan spoke to this in the press conference a little bit afterwards, but like he is a very aggressive player and like is really good at taking control of the lane early, but not necessarily so good at playing those kind of scaling team fight champions, which is kind of, I don't know, saw a lot of trouble on Sivir, like when he had to play that.
Yeah. He also struggled with Zeri.
Yeah, it's same situation, just a little bit.
And then map 5 again on Sivir, just not what you want. But so it'll be interesting to see them. You know, look, I think we all knew 100 Thieves was going to be a tall task for an EG without Danny. Danny is a one of one. The dude's amazing, and I think again, Kaori comes in, great substitute, but just doesn't have, at least after only 10. I think Vulcan said they only scrimmed 10 times before this match. So it's tough to kind of pick up too much team chemistry, but I mean, Danny's just a special player. He finds those, you know, angles. He finds the plays and just kind of makes something out of nothing sometimes. It just takes a special player to do. And look, Kaori's young. You know, this is his very first ever LCS match. For it to be in a semifinal, I thought he did pretty well.
Yeah, he did well. I'm not going to hold a lot against him. It's a difficult situation to step into, especially with a week of practice. But like, yeah, Danny is special to an extent. Like, there's not a lot of players that will come in one of their first playoff splits and have a pentakill Baron steal, pretty much solo play. I actually go back and rewatch it a lot just because, like, it is astounding that he's just willing to go after this alone as an ADC, pretty much. I think Vulcan's around with, like, a Tahm Kench, but there's nobody realistically to help him. And, like, that's heads up, but it's also so risky, and it's just awesome to see. And some people just have that gene.
Some people do. Some people don't.
I listen, you want to talk about genes, though? I mean, like, the entire 100 Thieves team to come out one with the Soroka pick in the last map, and also, like, that comp was awesome, but they were just clutch. Like, they had the factor from the beginning. Like, if you look at who he's assists to, he's on one. So much healing.
Yeah. And someday to take the Gwen, I think, was also just a fantastic pick.
And that was a late pick too.
It was the last,
it was the last pick, but like he also hovered. Who was it? He was hovering Aatrox for a while, which I mean is like a comfort pick for him. But I don't know. That bottom lane was pretty much done by like minute 2. It felt like they just had so much control over it, and then after that, it was Dragon Stack into kind of, you know, force EG to play for objectives that we want them to play for and take fights that we want them to take. But I mean,
it was a tall task for EG to come away. They took it to 5 maps, which at this point, the LCS lower bracket, every match has gone to 5 matches. So the over 4.5 hits yet again. We had that pick last week. I'm a bit disheartened that EG wasn't able to win. You know, at 3.02 odds, which we had them at early. It was looking great after map 1. It was looking great after map 3. But ultimately, I do think that 100 Thieves are the better team. And so, really excited to kind of see what we have coming up here against Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely convinced that either of those teams can beat Cloud9. But if you want to hop into it, like, Cloud9 at 1.6, like it looks pretty good across the board. Just because, like I don't know, I'm stuck in a situation where I have 100 Thieves winning the entire playoffs. I think they're a very clutch team if this goes deep in a series. Like if we're past 3 games, I think 100 Thieves will clutch up, regardless of what it takes. But for me, like that bot lane has grown up so quickly. I've said it like again and again. It's just Berserker is different. Like I don't even know what else to say besides that. And I feel like a lot of people were baited into doubting Cloud9 just because of what I said like a couple weeks ago, which is they played 3 or 4 matches at the beginning of the split with like 3 substitutes on their roster playing. And like that is guaranteed 3 losses regardless of who you're playing realistically because you've been practicing with a different roster. And now they're in a final and they look like pretty dominant across the board in that upper bracket outside of the CLG game. And I just don't know, man. Like, it didn't. I definitely would say that if EG had come away with the win, I wouldn't expect them to win this at all. It felt like it was pretty easy to draft against them.
So I have a different take. So in the post-game interview, Inspired MVP, second season MVP, the second MVP for him. So congratulations to him. He said Cloud9 wins this 3-1, which I think is certainly an interesting take from a impressive player who probably knows his shit. I
would say he does.
I would say he does. But you know what was funny is this morning, or was it last night? I watched the 100 Thieves Cloud9 matchup again, thinking kind of that this would ultimately be the replay, and it reminded me that first map, 100 Thieves was in control, and Cloud9 kind of snaked it from them, and then ultimately 100 Thieves won the second map. But to me, it's like if they go up 2-0 on Cloud9, that's a totally different game. And so, I actually think, look, Inspired, all due respect, I love kind of, again, 100 Thieves, the great poet, or the great philosopher, Aristotle has long said...
it was actually Robespierre.
Oh, it was Robespierre?
Yeah.
Has long said, it's really hard to beat the same team twice. And here we are again with 100 Thieves coming up against Cloud9. The odds that we are showing right now, you can get 100 Thieves at 2.24, which is fantastic value. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to lean 100 Thieves on this one.
I'm not, like, I'm stuck in this 100 Thieves pick. I've had them since the beginning of playoffs. I just feel like it is a tall task to beat C9. I think they can do it. They're definitely capable. Also, if there's any team that's been, like, disrespected in terms of like first team a little bit, I think it's 100 Thieves, and they definitely have that chip on their shoulder that they had like last summer. So maybe that carries over, but I don't know. It was also like really nice to meet people today at fucking Fan Fest and all that. That was fun as shit.
Yeah.
But dude, I don't.
Well, you'd be a fool not to bet.
Yeah,
you'd be a fool not to bet the over 4.5 at 2.87 right now. That's insane value.
But that's why, like, top of the table in the LCS has been closing out games at like a pretty high rate when they get ahead. And for 100 Thieves to get snaked and lose one to C9 in the fashion that you're talking about,
yeah,
I think that says more about C9 than it does about 100 Thieves.
Sure.
Because if you can push a team, like if you can get your objective bounties and bring a game back, that takes a lot of nuts and also risky plays. But I don't know. It says a lot about where C9 is, I think, compared to the rest of the teams.
Yeah, well, these teams did split in the summer, 1-1. So not a ton there. Obviously, the most recent matchup being 3-1. It's hard to argue against that. I don't know, man. My biggest bet is going to be the over 4.5 at 2.87, and I am definitely going to take 100 Thieves on the money line at 2.24. I kind of want to take the minus 1.5 also at 3.31. I'm looking. I think. Look, when you're at the arena, the video that they show before the match has Fudge just talking epic amounts of shit.
He's not talking shit. He says. He says you can have your double lift, you can have your Bjergsen, but I'm the greatest player in North American history.
Right.
Which is awesome. You know, you gotta have that. You gotta believe that you're that good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's gonna come back to bite him in the ass. And right now, Sunday's playing fantastic on the top lane. So
he was alright today. He was pretty good.
I think that's gonna be a really fun matchup to watch. And I guess we'll see. We'll see who's the best top laner.
I think Impact handled him pretty well. Like I don't think he ever really got that far ahead. I think the Scion pick was weird, but I mean it's also hard for me to put stock in a lot of like regular season. Oh, they went 1-1, right? Like because we talked to a lot of people today that were like, hey. You just ask them, you're like, would you rather see best of threes on like weekdays? And like pretty much the answer across the board is yes. Like it's just more competitive. It gives you a better output. Whether that like if you're a stats person, like you'll have a better look at teams and how they actually play. You also get to see like way more creative comps because like if you got a C9 Golden Guardians match, of course C9 is going to go up 1-0, and then they're probably going to mess around in game 2 just a little bit, like play with something.
I think you even do it like if we're talking about format, like you could do a best of 3 and count them each as best of 1s, like for the record, and then just have like a bunch of them.
You gotta count best of 3s.
All right, well,
LCK format.
What's your pick? What's your pick for the grand finals tomorrow, which we will be at?
I mean, I'm sticking with 100 Thieves.
Okay.
I feel like I have to. It's kind of set in stone. I'm really, again, like very okay with any result here, though, because I think it would be very cool to see C9 win. But yeah, I think I got to stick with the boys just a little bit. The ones that I picked from the beginning. I don't back down from this, and I won't be backing down the LEC either, which is, why we're about to head that way in terms of what we're talking about. Because,
another
Rogue,
big matchup today.
Rogue coming out on top against Fnatic, ending that whole fucking spiel. But also, before we get into that, do want to say a quick thank you to Riot Games, the Story Mob, LCS, and everyone, for inviting us as media. It's been quite the experience, and it's been awesome across the board. So,
absolutely,
wanted to throw that
special shout out to them.
All right, LEC. I don't want to say that I told you so, but
yes, you're gonna say you told you.
Absolutely, listen. It had to happen from the lower bracket. It always did. And Fnatic, I told you this.
Fnatic is a great run.
Yeah,
they win
great
map 1. Too.
Sure, great run. They made their
one.
Worlds whatever appearance, but
they're making it to Worlds.
Dude, this team, I know.
Look at this. Worlds
That's
playing.
what I'm saying. But
there's no. By the way, Jojo Pion talking so much shit about the LEC today.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's North America.
If it's G2, then no, we're fine.
No. Okay. There's no team more capable of falling apart very quickly than Fnatic. I said that last week. I stand by it because it happened today too.
Up 1-0.
They're just. It's such a detrimental team at some points.
It was so funny. You watched the first match.
They rolled Rogue.
They rolled Rogue.
Rolled them.
And the casters are all standing there basically being like, well, this looks like a clean 3-0, 3-1.
Put them in a fucking...
Talking about can Rogue come back. They're so methodical. They're boring basically as shit to watch play.
Hey, just behave.
But guess what? They come back. What?
Pull up the match.
Pull up the match?
Yeah.
All right, let me see what I can find. It's hard to pull.
Yeah, it's whatever. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Oh, here.
Hey, listen.
Here he is.
Less boring now,
So they win 2 on blue, 1 on red. The reality is, this Rogue team is going to get curb stomped tomorrow against the G2 that is far superior. I mean,
G2 is the best team in the LEC, and even if they lose this series tomorrow, they're still the best team in the LEC. I just think that, again, we're watching esports, and, of course, G2 is, the esports team. In pretty much everything they do, they're always going to be good at it because they have a great brand behind their team, and, a lot of people love rooting for them. They get playoff buffs pretty much across the board. But there is a story here, and that Rogue has been to so many finals as only an upper bracket team, and for the first time in however long they're making their appearance as a lower bracket team. I think that alone says enough almost to where I'm like, hey, is this doable? As it's just gonna pull up the VOD if you do that.
Really?
Yeah. And then it's gonna play that audio out loud, which is gonna be, or it's just gonna pull up Fnatic's roster. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, just go to the odds. We can talk about that because, dude, it is impossible. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're a far superior team, and if they lose tomorrow, they will be. And I don't think Rogue can beat them in a fashion that is dominant. It won't happen. G2's too good of a team, but I do think Larson showed up a lot today.
Yeah.
And that is I think he's the person that probably wants it the most on Rogue, and understandably so. He's been so close so many times, and not only gotten stomped in LEC finals, but then they go to Worlds and they're unimpressive. So you don't have a lot to take away from that. But it feels it's finally time to turn the page at least once, and then maybe happens again next year. Like, it's got it. Like, something's got to give eventually. And if it doesn't give, I think this is the end of, seeing Rogue as kind of that team that is always going to be a regular season reaper, as I called them like 2 splits ago. But, like, I don't know. It's got the energy for me just a little bit. I think this goes 5. I think Rogue take it.
5? You think this goes 5 and Rogue takes it?
Yeah, no, I do. I think they showed a lot more today, especially being down a map and in the lower bracket, than like I was prepared to see. If they had lost first map, I was very much like, hey, this probably isn't going to work. Like, Fnatic has momentum. They're playing pretty well. But, you watch Fnatic fall apart and Rogue takes advantage of it. Also, Rogue kind of became laning demons a little bit today, which they're going to need against G2. G2 is the best laning team in the game. So
Malring really showed up the last 2 maps in particular. It's just, I have such a hard time like with the matchups. You got Broken Blade going against Otoamne.
They get Malring on Jarvan. Because Malring's Jarvan is like...
But you've got fucking Caps going against Larson. And like you said, Larson's been playing much better. But
Caps is a great playoff mid laner.
Yes. And then on the bottom, they have Flacket and Targamas. Like, it's just it's a far superior bottom lane.
Trimby engaged supports are pretty good.
I do think the odds are appropriate. So 3.19 for Rogue.
I think it's great odds for Rogue. Like
1.262 for G2.
But also that plus 1.5 is like awesome.
Well,
at 2.0.
But if you want, you're basically thinking it's going to go 5. There's no way you think they're going to win a 3-1. And so you're better off just betting
no.
over 4.5.
But I'd rather be covered. Like, I'm not going to take that risk. Like, what if it happens?
I think you're better off taking the over 4.5 at 3.14, which is outrageously good odds. For me, I'm taking G2 on the minus 1.5 at 1.77. This team is too good. They're performing at the right time. You could even convince me to take the minus 2.5 at 3.25. I know you think that this is how it happens for Rogue. They need to go to the bottom.
So I've said since the beginning of playoffs.
Just like a phoenix rising from the
Listen,
I
started with this projection. I would like to be very clear. So, like, they have to go to the lower bracket. This is the only way they win.
And so obviously you have to keep it going.
No, I mean, like, I still believe that wholeheartedly. It just feels more real now, right? Like, it's actually in play. Whereas if they were coming from upper bracket, I would say this is G2 dub, easy.
E2.
Like, no doubt. I mean...
All right.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're not. I'll say it again. They're not a better team than G2. I will never believe that. Like, I think G2 is by far one of the better rosters that we've seen come out of the LEC recently, and I think they will be very good at Worlds. I'm like hard pressed to believe that they'll have a tough time at Worlds. I think this team like makes a semifinal appearance probably.
Yep.
I'd be shocked if they didn't, but I think this is Rogue's chance.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they make a World semifinal appearance. At least. Maybe a finals appearance, but they're going to have to beat some good teams.
I'm not sure that they're that good yet, but they're definitely the best team in the LEC by quite a large margin.
I mean, they've proven that time over time.
Yeah.
Like, they literally took a break middle of the split, and then they came back and were like, never mind.
Totally. All right, well, we got a big Sunday coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be lit tomorrow. Hopefully we get 5.
I'm excited.
We'll see.
In both regions?
Well, I mean, it's my prediction for the LEC, so yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
If you want 5, it's over 3 odds. Over 4.5 is 3 point whatever it was.
Well, yeah, I want 5, but I also just want Rogue to win. Like, that's, I don't care how it happens.
Well, take over 4.5 and take your
But
Rogue
I love
to
G2.
win.
Like the thing is, across both splits, I'm very okay with either result. I just think that this is the time that it finally works.
If you take Rogue to win 3.19, put a unit on that, and then you also take your over 4.5.
Okay, well,
3.14.
I mean, you can't parlay that same match.
It's like
the same result or whatever.
10.02.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that, but
but also just put a unit on each of those, and
at least you're throwing it out there.
Yeah,
for the people.
Love it.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Well, with that.
You might love it, but I love our fans. And with that being said, go follow us on Twitter at Best3Network. If you're at the LCS Finals tomorrow, find us. We have a couple hoodies to give away.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe we'll give one to a content creator or whatever if the chance presents itself. But we're going to be saying hi to people, promoting the brand, and also just striking up genuine conversations about like the LCS specifically and kind of the changes that can be made there. But everything across the board. Discord should be in the description below as well. And is there anything else? Oh, sub, like, comment, hit that bell, get our notifications going. We like to reply to comments, especially the hate ones. They're funnier. But we'll see you, I guess, middle of the week. Recap it all.
Thanks again to the LCS Story Mob.
Yeah.
We're excited to be able to be there and covering the content. So
Pumped.
this was fun.
Peace out.
Toodaloo.